I've been traveling far. Good afternoon, Las Vegas. This is Clark coming at you with Be Heard. Hope everybody's listening today. We've been down for a while. I think we've been getting blocked by the CIA or the NSA or some other kind of alphabet soup, trying to limit what we can say around here because we only talk the truth, and a lot of these alphabet soup agents, they don't like the truth. So we're all about and to be heard, and we want everyone to be heard. For what our problem today solution is, let's just start something new in this country. Let's just talk the truth. You know, if it's not true, don't say it. How about that one for a while? All of our politicians lie through their teeth, and then you take like a Donald Trump. He's not a politician. Lie, but what do the politicians say? They say he's lying. So, I mean, it's absolutely comical in a way because there's no truth anymore. Everything is upside down. Everything is exactly opposite of what it's supposed to be. And this is what happens in a society when it's getting ready to collapse. And I think our society is facing a lot of problems that are internal, coming from within ourselves. And we're in desperate straits because look what happened to the Roman Empire. They collapsed. They started living a life of corruption, a life of consumption instead of producing. And they collapsed on their own weight because they couldn't keep up anymore. Their economy failed. They became a country where they bought everything from their surrounding neighbors, and when they ran out of money, they were done. This is what's happened to the United States. We're giving away all of our jobs. They're moving to Mexico, moving to China, moving to places where they can get a better bang for the buck, where they don't face the high taxes of the United States. A lot of our medical companies like Medtronics and companies like that are moving to Ireland because over there I think there's something like a 12% tax rate. So these big giant companies, billions and billions of dollars in net worth, are moving to these environments to where they don't pay the confiscatory tax policies that the United States is now known for. We are run by very, very stupid politicians. Look at what Hillary Clinton's running around professing to want to do. She wants to raise taxes. Here she is, a Democrat, running for office, telling everybody in the middle class, by the way, that she's going to raise taxes. And then what is she going to do with it? She's going to create jobs. How is she going to create jobs? She's going to hire people to pave roads, build bridges, and so forth. That's like infrastructure, and that's government spending. So she's going to raise taxes, going to increase spending on the government side, and then she's going to take credit for increasing jobs somehow. Obama tried this when he got in office. I remember shovel-ready jobs and all that crap. Well, it didn't pan out, did it? Because nothing that these progressive liberals are ever going to come out of their lips is going to be the truth. All it does is sound good at election time. It's all claptrap. None of it ever works because they don't know what they're doing and never have known what they're doing. They just come out with these sound good stuff that they can run on, and then nothing ever works when they get into power. They do the opposite, or they just don't know what to do. And that's probably a combination of both. These people have never run a business in their lives, except for, of course, Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Crime Foundation. They're very good at that, selling their influence for big, big cash, selling secrets to the United States, selling out to China, raise money for re-election like Bill Clinton did in '96 by selling the Lincoln bedroom and giving trade secrets to the Chinese. These people are despicable, despicable creeps. And Hillary Clinton is supposedly leading in the polls. You've got to be kidding me. Now, the mainstream media, I think, is partially or partly or mostly responsible for emanating these facts and facts. They're emanating this talk about the polls. And I guarantee you that these polls, this election cycle, are going to be the worst ever. Now, in past elections, they were getting pretty good in some respects. Some of the poll numbers were pretty decent. I think, like, take for example the Angle and Reid poll, the 2000, what was it, 10 or something race in Nevada, where Harry Reid was down 5%, and he ended up winning 5% the day of the election. So how do you go down 5% and win 5%? Well, it's called a voting machine that changes the votes from Angle to Reid. You see, that's how you go from down 5 to up 5. When the votes change from one to the other, that's a 10% switch. It goes away from one and goes to the other. That's how you get that 10% swing. So that proves to me that the voting machines were fixed. That, in combination with people leaving the polls, saying that they were checking their ballot in the machine before they left the booth, and they had voted for Angle, and in checking their ballot, they noticed before they left, wait a minute, their Angle ballot had changed to Reid. And they left the voting booth and complained about it. And numerous people did that. It was on the news, but nothing ever happens with that because Harry Reid gets elected, kind of like his reply about what he did with Romney about lying about the guy's taxes, saying someone told him that Romney hadn't paid his taxes. Well, who is it? Well, of course, he wouldn't disclose that because nobody told him that. This was just a figment of his imagination. And then after the election, when Reid was presented with evidence there wasn't any, that he paid his taxes and so forth, Reid's response was, well, he didn't get reelected, didn't get elected, did he? I mean, what a bunch of despicable bozos. Now, I'm obviously not a Democrat, okay? But I'm not a staunch Republican either because I don't believe in either party. I think both parties need to be declared unfit to exist. They're illegal enterprises and they need to be run away. They need to be buried. They need to be delegated to the trash heap of nice tries. Our forefathers warned us about the despicability of political parties. And what do? The states go and they make political parties. And this is the part of the big problem that we have in this country right now is everything has been hijacked from us. And it's been hijacked by the parties. Both parties, it's hardly announce the difference between them anymore. They both lie. They both have an agenda, and their agenda is to keep their jobs, keep their power. That's it. It's not what can they do to better this country. That's gone out the window a long time ago. Decades ago, that was gone. And as a result, this country's not improved its position in the world for decades. As a matter of fact, we've gone backwards. In the last 8 years, we've really gone backwards. Under the Obama administration, we didn't go anywhere. We're average growth of what, 1%? The first time in 8 year administration that we haven't had at least 1/4 of 3% growth. That's quite an accomplishment, Obama. You've done a great job. There's, I guess, 12 million more people I hear on food stamps. Quite an accomplishment. That's 12 million more votes, I guess, for the Democrats, because there's 12 more people dependent upon you to feed them. This country is really, really in bad shape. And it's from the lack of leadership. We need a leader. We need someone that knows how to run something for a change instead of people like Nancy Pelosi, career politicians like Harry Reid's, and people that have never held a real job or produced anything in their life. This is what's been leading this country for decades. And we are in deep, deep trouble because of it. And joining us today is Rolando Larraz, editor-in-chief of the Las Vegas Tribune, my special guest today. He's had a few days off because somebody was blocking our broadcast. The alphabet soup agencies like the NSA, the CIA, the
No,
whatever.
I thought it was some kind of self self-described homosexual, then got pissed off and came over here one day and tried to shut a radio broadcast.
Oh.
And I think, we had a bad week. Our signs had been, the signs in the building are gone, and we've been
Under attack.
under attack. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I'm back, and they only can take us down for a couple days. It's like in boxing, you go down, but as long as you get up before the 10 count, what is it, 10 count?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna keep going. Don't worry about it. I just have I just came back from the center. For those of you who don't know what the center is, it's an association where the gay community, I don't know the name of the whole thing, gay, lesbian, transgender, I don't know, it's a
Is
bunch
that
of
that LBGT, another alphabet soup
yeah.
name? Yeah.
And I had the pleasure seeing Catherine Cortez Masto in there, the former Nevada Attorney General, and she gave me a hug and a kiss, and I was very happy to see her, and I could not confirm or deny the fact that Harry Reid is not in her side anymore. But she's the one that introduced Harry Reid in the event. If not, then I was there uh, as an accident. It was an event where the LBGT, whatever the letters are, uh, I think they were honoring Harry Reid.
Was Harry Reid there?
Yeah, he came in sporting a nice cane. He's I am very, very, you know how picky I am with my fashion. He got a dark suit, dark blue suit, and he got brown shoes. I thought that was kind of tacky, but it's okay. He got 3 SUVs parked in front, so anybody with 3 SUV can dress the way they want. And he admit that he is blind from the right eye. And he mentioned the fact that when he was a kid, he learned how to swim in the swimming pool of a whorehouse. And that city ways where he lived.
Searchlight, isn't that the name of it?
Yeah, Searchlight. But Catherine Cortez Masto didn't deny or confirm that the relationship was not as good. But I tell you one thing: if I was her, I would be very, very disappointed with the former president of the Latin Chamber of Commerce. Then have gave her the endorsement and then pull out the endorsement and give it to Joe Heck. I think that is a good in what do you call possibility, I guess. Then the rumors that they are not having a good time is there because I know the Automedian will never do that. Will never do anything like that to Harry Reid because Automedida will kiss the floor that Harry Reid walk on. And I believe that it is the possibility, then maybe she be able to advance better in the election. Now the Harry Reid is not behind her. So, but I know when people changing the subject of the conversation, and when I ask her very plain and straight how true it is, she asked me how's my family, and how's your family? You know, and but I don't know. I got the feeling that she was happy to see me, and she promised me that she's going to be here and face. Well, not in here, but well, it could be here too. I don't care. But she's going to be in my radio show, and maybe I can talk her into being your radio show, Clark, because your radio show has more audience than mine. So we got to work with what we got, you know. And that's it. Oh, I went to the county commissioners meeting today, and there was a lot of people in there for some reason. People are interested in people are interested on the they have a they're gonna raffle some land. That's not the word that the intelligent people use. It's not a raffle, but they're gonna what do you call that when they're gonna
Well, it's not an auction.
auction?
Is that an
Auction. God, I'm telling you, I'm tired. I'm rusty. I'm rusty.
Oh.
Besides being Rolando, I'm rusty because I haven't been in the air for a whole week. And so, yeah, it's an auction. Yeah, actually, Ed Yulin is over there in the auction right now, and I think it's criminal what they're doing with that land. But what can you do? You know, that's government for you.
I wonder if Fry's is sitting on leased land.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, they are. They are. Yeah, frankly. So.
Is
But-
Valley High Golf Course, doesn't Walters own that? Or is that on leased land?
No, I think Walter might have a lease land, but I think somebody else is going to go there now. They already made a deal for the stadium.
That's what I've been hearing. So
Yeah.
what are they doing with the leased land by Fry's? What's this auction for?
I don't know. They say about 4 or 5 lots. Then it was going to be auctioned today. You know, I have not been around for a few days, and to be honest with you, none of this stuff that we are concerned over here in Las Vegas, people outside Las Vegas, they're not interested to know. They come here to have a good time and to enjoy themselves and party and drink and everything else. And so I lose touch with the Las Vegas reality, you know, but that's something to do with.
Well, I don't know. Are we gonna get a football team for sure?
Yeah, yeah, we do.
I thought that something about betting was preventing any NFL team from coming here. Because supposedly, if you had an NFL team here, you couldn't bet on it.
Well, that was remember long time ago, if you was not an American citizen, you could not own a casino. And now you got all these corporations from Asia and from some Spanish countries.
Yeah, that one there where the Stardust used to be. That's a
Right.
Chinese deal or
This
something,
is a
right?
Chinese deal.
$5 billion Chinese deal.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe now it changed also because gaming, the gaming uh, rulers, the gaming control, the gaming commission didn't allow, uh, didn't want, did not want to have betting from Las Vegas online or whatever it was, betting on a team. And what is the idea to have a team if you cannot bet? You know,
Well,
I'm not a bettor. I don't know anything about sport, but I will assume that if you going to see a game, you want to bet. You know.
you know how much money's bet on the football teams every week? My God, it's
Really?
pathetic. Oh, it's unbelievable. And if you had a team, you would want that action because if the truth be known, the owners of the team probably get inside information on who's going to win every week. So that's why these franchises are worth $4 billion. Not because of the revenue at the gate, it's because of the revenue at the betting window.
Oh.
See that? But I know that truth, you see. I'm an insider. So I always look for the money. You follow the money and you'll find out what's going on.
Oh.
That's the corruption that's pervasive throughout the whole country.
Well,
Corruption, corruption,
you said
corruption.
that's the way it's supposed to be.
No, not really. That's the way things go just before you collapse.
You know, it's what we was talking about before I came in to accept your invitation to be in your show. You know, people open businesses to make money. Not everybody is as stupid like me, then is not making any money. And somebody was complaining about how many millions of dollars the taxi owners make. And I don't know. I think everybody and every taxi company everywhere in the United States make money. You know, I
I
used
think
to.
they're more or less famous for being corrupt too, but I don't know. I don't want to speak out of hand, but
What do you mean?
I think every taxi cab in
Owner?
big cities are corrupt
Why? What makes you think that?
because it's limited competition. So there's something going on there. You can't just open up a taxi company in these cities. It's all protected. Like look what Uber's going through and all that stuff. They all get drummed out of the business because they don't want any competition. So they're like a protected monopoly, if you will. That costs money to have that protection. So you pay off the politicians and then you get a free reign, which means you get to steal all you can steal.
Do you have any of those kinds?
And then nobody enforces the regulations on the taxi drivers, the way they get paid, and their commissions or whatever, their tips, how they buy
I have
gas,
to get
how they pay for the
some
cabs.
candy because
It's all
my sugar
corruption.
is down. You know. Thank you. I think my sugar is down. I'm yawning
Oh.
too much, so I need some sugar. I don't know.
Which bathroom did you use at the center?
I didn't use the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to expose myself.
Yeah. Just
But-
curious, 'cause
No. Anyway, let's change a little bit the subject to the daily paper made in the local front page today talking about they has hired 3 journalists investigating journalists, and they are award-winning journalists, and you know they're gonna focus on
they're from outside Nevada, which is good,
yeah,
because they're not corrupt to begin with anyways.
yeah, but the only thing wrong with that, in my point of view, is they don't have the connections to get. They don't have the connection to get.
But they don't have the strings attached to them either. That prevents investigations.
No, they don't have the string attached. But the problem is nobody gonna talk to them. At least in the courthouse, I know that none of those people in the courthouse will talk to. The only time you get somebody writing scoops in the court is like Jeff German. He's connected with the Attorney General's office and the Department of Justice, and he's like a spokesperson for them. He writes what they tell them to write. That's my opinion. These people are not gonna go nowhere with all the award winning they have, all the degrees they have, all the experience, all 20 years of newspaper business. When they get to Las Vegas, they're gonna change. They're gonna work like everybody else. They're gonna ask what, and even if they come out, look what happened with that lady on Channel 5 when she wrote the article. She put Christine Lobato's story on Channel 5.
She got transferred.
I was surprised that they allowed her to do it, but they did let her do it.
Just
But
slipped out.
they transferred. Why? Well, I'm sure that the person who allowed her to do it didn't want to transfer her, but maybe that person got pressure from the higher up, from somebody in the court or somebody in the governor's office or somebody around here that they, how dare you do that? How
See,
dare
that's-
you expose?
We need to go back to the old schools of investigative reporting. When something happened like that and then the person that did whatever gets transferred, that needs to really be looked into. Why were they transferred? So we have another increase
But I call her
in the
twice.
investigation.
I called her twice,
Well, they-
and she don't
capped.
return my call.
Sure, she's been capped. But that's, yeah, well.
How are we gonna do it if she don't talk?
Well,
You see what I mean?
yeah, you're gonna have to, you have to get her.
Freedom of information in Las Vegas is a myth.
We need
Only
to
when
work
they
on
want.
getting that out.
Huh?
We need to work on getting that out there. You put them on camera, you trap these people on camera, kind of like what, I don't know, Fox News and some of these other people, they get people in the street and they put them on camera and they ask these tough questions. Like there's been some rulings that come down from judges that like let someone off and then the person turns around and does some heinous crime. Well, then here comes Jesse Waters or somebody and gets them on camera in front, asking these tough questions, and they don't want to talk. They run into their house, they run away. Well, that's what we need to see. Expose these people. And then what happens? They end up losing their job or resigning or something because they get exposed. They won't go on camera and you can tell when they're lying. So you need investigation. You really, really need to get to the bottom. Because otherwise the other side of the coin is we get more and more and more corruption and things get worse and worse. They never get better, they get worse. We're in a cycle right now where everything in this country is getting worse. Everything. Corruption is just becoming persuasive everywhere. How do you stop it?
Let me ask you something. Assuming that we only got 2 readers a month, okay? We've been writing about your case for 10 months. So that means
12 months. 12 months.
12 months? Okay, so that means we got 24 readers. Do you think out of the 24?
Once a week for 12 months.
Oh, yeah.
52.
Yeah, that's right.
104.
Do you think that somebody could make some kind of investigation or dig a little deeper, somebody on a position like Chief Judge Barker, somebody like the justice in the Supreme Court, you think they will put their fingers in there and prove? You know, I tell you, the only reason, I believe the only reason Judge Barker got involved with the public administration is because the guy who is guilty of everything is not there anymore. That's all it is. You know.
Did he come in at the tail end of that guardianship mess that was going on? With Jared Schaefer and everything?
Yeah.
Because Barker had something to do with getting rid of a couple of magistrates that were involved in that scandal, right?
Yeah.
So I think he came in at the end of that one. And but now we have another one that really hasn't hit the fan yet, but it will, because it concerns trusts, and which is the same thing along the guardianship
That's
route.
true. That's true. The guardianship lasted what, 10 years?
Yeah. So, and the trust industry, because of the baby boomers, are now inheriting a tremendous amount of wealth, because their parents and so forth are dying off, and these baby boomers, it's projected that we'll have 40 to 100 trillion dollars. 40 to 100 trillion dollars that they need to find a home for, and that's going to develop a lot of interest in the trust industry, because supposedly the only way you can protect your assets is through a trust. At least that's been the law for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years prior to the United States even being here.
Maybe what we need to do is send those articles to other newspapers outside Las Vegas, and maybe somebody get interested. And I'm not talking about another newspaper. I'm talking about somebody in office that can have the
Well, the states attract, or try, most of them, a lot of them try to attract trust business. Because if you can entice creators to develop trust within your borders, that creates jobs in your state. And that takes the pressure off taxpayers, because you don't have to raise the property taxes or sales taxes or this or that. It takes some pressure off of that. Now, the state of Nevada, for example, used to have a lot of attention on creating corporations here, where people file their paperwork here, pay the annual fees and so forth, because it's cheaper and the laws are better here than, let's say, Arizona or New York or some other places. So a tremendous amount of companies would incorporate here.
As long as you don't gonna open a business, you can have a corporation and operate somewhere else.
Well, that's free money.
Once you are, thank you.
That's free money for the state of Nevada, because all those annual fees and everything go right into the Secretary of
Because when
State.
you're gonna go open a business in Las Vegas and you have to have a license from the state of Nevada, it doesn't make any sense.
I'm on the hair.
It doesn't make any sense.
I'll call you back. Well, that policy that they had to be competitive, I think their number one competition was Delaware. Because for years and years, Delaware was a very attractive place for corporations to house in for their legal paperwork and so forth. Because the laws of Delaware protect corporations from frivolous lawsuits and things of that nature, and so did Nevada. Well, then what did Nevada do? They turn around, they get greedy, these politicians who don't know how to run anything, and they look for money. So they double the fees to register a company here. Well, guess what happened? The less companies register here. And then what did they do the following year? Because revenue went down instead of up, they doubled it again. Just raise the fees, right? And you're going to have more revenue. No, it doesn't work that way. So what they did, they chased all that business out of here. Now they're going to do the same thing with the trust business. They're going to chase them all out of here. Nevada used to be,
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need to let people outside Nevada so they don't come here.
right,
Send those articles to lawyers in other cities and other states that do not, that all they do is trust. You know, like here, we got about 8 or 10 law offices that that's all they do, trust.
right.
Okay, we find out in Los Angeles, in Houston, and Phoenix, and all these big cities.
There was an article that just came out from the New York Times, I believe, where they wrote an article on Oceans, who is a trust attorney here in Nevada, that goes around the country promoting the advantages of Nevada Trust. Well, he got written up in the New York Times of all places about the 1% of the wealthy people that he's trying to attract to house their trusts here in Nevada. Well, that was written up in New York, but that's a fraud because it depends on your judicial system where you can have a trust. Because if you have lawyers like what I've seen here, I mean, judges, they're just going to wipe out any trust law there is because they don't abide by it.
Yeah.
They rule the way they want to. They don't go by the law. They are contrary to the Constitution of the United States, and they just steal money to give to their potential campaign contributors, which are all the lawyers that practice in their courtroom. So that's anti the entire process of having a trust. It's completely opposite of what a trust is supposed to be. And when you have judges that are clueless, that don't have a clue what a trust is, that's what you end up with. New Hampshire was getting the same problems with it. The judges there in New Hampshire didn't have a clue what a trust was. Well, somebody in the legislature identified that there was a potential problem coming up there. So now they have the Supreme Court has their own trust department. So where if it's a trust issue, you more or less have your own Supreme Court to decide trust litigation. So that's going to help because you're going to get qualified people that know what a trust is. When you have a judge that doesn't have a clue what a trust is, you're not going to get anything but garbage out of that court.
You know, I got about, what do we got? How much time do we have left?
20 minutes?
Can I choose a different topic for a minute?
Sure. You're the guest. This is open line Monday. Tuesday, open line Tuesday.
Oh, that's what it is?
Right,
Well, we're glad that we are back on the air, that's for sure.
right.
Okay, people are complaining and people are talking about Trump urging to betting the traffic of, I don't know, visitors or immigrants or
Yeah.
whatever, you know.
People trying to get
It
in this
doesn't
country.
make any difference if they come here as a visitor, as a tourist, as a student visa. You don't know. Like, you know, I was talking to somebody that know me for a long time from my country. I don't know. I think he was at one time he was my teacher, and he remembered vividly. How do you say that?
Vividly, yeah.
Vividly, when my mother, rest in peace, sent me to United States. I came over to Loyola Military Academy in Macon, Georgia. The list of the paperwork to do, I was at that time, I'm not going to say how many years ago was that, but I was 16 years old. At that time, a 16 years old child was a minor. Today, 16 years old, they know more than a 40 or 50 years old. They are completely knowledge and in a lot of things, then time change. The the amount of questions that immigration or the embassy of United States and Cuba ask about my health, about my. The first thing they ask is if the person is uh, known or affiliated with a communist party.
Right.
Okay, now you cannot do that. That's discrimination. That you cannot ask it. They are freedom of whatever it is, freedom of what is it, religion, political opinion, whatever that they ask about money. They ask about.
You used to have to prove that you could support yourself and not immediately come here to get welfare, which is what's going on
I
now.
don't understand why is this. What make these liberals
Votes. The people that come here and go on welfare have a propensity to vote for Democrats.
But don't they realize that most people then they are somebody in their own country, they got nothing to come here to look for. They got nothing. People that are comfortable, people that have a good job, professionals, people that live their life like I don't know. They don't come here to live.
Right. So
They
what's
come
the
here, but why you want to make it easy for those other people? They got nothing to
Votes.
offer.
They vote Democratic. There's no
Yeah.
other reason. Why do you think all these kiddies are coming in strapped to the tops of trains and get filtered around the country? Because they're votes. They are liberal base votes.
But they underage. They can vote.
Doesn't matter.
They vote?
Yes.
Oh.
Democrats aren't out there checking IDs.
So can we
If
go?
you don't have to give an ID, how do you prove your age?
Let me tell you, that's another thing. I'm glad you mentioned it. I went to the doctor today. I walked to the counter and I said to the lady, "Good morning. I was gonna say I have an appointment. That was 7 o'clock in the morning. I was the first customer. Before I can open my mouth and said I have an appointment at 7 o'clock, she interrupted me and said, I need to see your ID and your insurance card.
Did you tell her you were an illegal alien? And they, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't
told
mean
him,
that.
I said, can I finish what I was saying before you interrupt me? Oh man, how dare I say that to her? How dare!
So needless to say, you didn't get into
No,
your
no,
appointment.
I gotta give him my ID. Okay, so if you go to the doctor, the most people go there for health reasons, and they are prepared to show. If I go to the doctor, I have to show my ID. If I go to the bank, funny thing about the bank, I went to deposit, not to withdraw, to deposit money in somebody's account. And they didn't let me put the money in because I
had
did
that
not.
exact same fight.
Really?
And I started yelling and screaming at the manager and everything else. And I said, look, I don't care who comes into this bank. If someone wants to put money in my account, let them.
Yeah. Okay. So if you need ID to even use the toilet on the gas station, okay, I have to use my driver's license and Barstow and a gas station to use the bathroom.
Wow, they had to hold your license to give you the key? Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So why can we not use it?
So if you don't have a license, you can't go to the bathroom in bars.
No. Well, I don't know about anywhere else in that particular radio station, gas station,
Right.
radio station. In that particular gas station, yeah. I mean, but if we need to do that for everything else, why cannot we use the photo ID to vote?
Common sense has gone
What is
out
the
the window
problem with that?
because it's gonna limit the amount of people, the base, that'll be able to vote for the Democrats. Any policy like that limits the people that can vote. And the Democrats want more people like
Well,
what you're talking
that's
about.
because they
No ID, no this, no job, no money, no nothing, on welfare. They want you to vote. And they don't want to interrupt that process. And they want you to vote 3, 4, 10, 12 times, however many times you can. If they have a strict ID policy, you can't vote multiple
But
times.
don't you think it would be better if they hire all Democrats to be of it? You know, when you go to vote, they got a table over there, and you go in there and you do whatever you gotta do. It would be better if we put the Democrats in there and then show the ID, even if it's the same ID for you, for me, for Don, for everybody else. And they don't care, but at least the rest of the citizens, the rest of the people that are there are seeing somebody getting the ID out, even if it's not the same picture, even if it's not the same person that had the ID, assuming that it's my ID and then I give it to you and then you give it to Don. You know, isn't it that better? At least it gives the image of being honest.
The problem is the innate corruption that supports the corruption. You know, what are you trying to put a false image? Who's that going to
No,
fool?
but it's better than don't ask for anything.
Well, if you don't ask for anything, people will have a more of an inclination to go and vote. Because if they know they're going to get asked, they won't show up. So the problem that the Democrats have is we want everybody to show up multiple times. So there's no anything. There's no interrogation. There's no got to show this. No got to show anything.
I tell you, it's awful.
It is. This is the downhill slope, slippery slope
It's bad
that this
enough.
country's been getting on
It's
because of the political parties. It's
It's
all
bad.
based
It's
on
bad
the parties.
enough. It's bad enough that the people. I forgot what I was going to say. Wow, am I getting old?
Well, it's a slippery slope, and we're going to the way that the Roman Empire went, and a lot of countries before us that have fallen off the face of the earth because of these policies that get pushed by the liberals.
I couldn't believe it. You know, it's.
Did you hear that the attorney general there in some town in Pennsylvania got convicted? I guess.
Yeah, she got
removed from office.
Yeah.
See, we're looking up.
Yeah.
Sometimes accidents happen, I guess.
I know.
And she was a Democrat, a T next to her name.
Accidents don't happen in Las Vegas.
No.
You know.
It needs to.
Yeah.
We need to have a big investigative arm of the Radio Tribune and the Las Vegas Tribune. We need a big investigation department that's not limited. We need to get out there and we need to have people asking questions and digging, because that's what makes the stories, that's what makes the truth come out, and that's what and the more they get complaints and people bitching and complaining, then you know you're on the right track. Because this country of Las Vegas, that you call it, has got serious problems. Serious problems.
I agree with you.
I just got an order in a case I'm involved with, totally illegal order. Totally illegal. There was nothing legal about it at all, not even close. And put forth by a district court judge.
This is what I'm trying to point out with these three people that are being hired by the daily newspaper, the Las Vegas Review-Journal. I'm going to mention the name of the newspaper because I have to let people know how fake this newspaper is. You know, I got another article that is coming out tomorrow in the paper. You know, they need fact check. They wrote stuff about the Latin Chamber of Commerce that is not true. But they listen, it's like Bill Clinton said about the FBI director is the biggest amount of bull I ever hear, whatever that expression was. You know, how dare a former president talk like that about
The
the
only
director
former
of the Federal
presidents,
Bureau of Investigation?
the only former presidents that talk like that were Democrat presidents. Look at the way Obama's talking. He's a Democrat. He knocks down Trump in front of a prime minister from a foreign country at the White House, having a news conference with this prime minister, and there's Obama being political
Well,
in front of a prime minister. Unbelievable. Despicable. D is for despicable.
This newspaper can make us look the worst. This newspaper, the daily newspaper, can make us look terribly, terribly bad. They can make us look like amateurs. If they follow us, they follow the story. You know, do you think none of these three people with all the award winning and everything else, do you think they're gonna go and dig in the case of Philly versus Philly and go against Bill Kephart and Alan Earl and all these people? If they go, if they can pass Chief Judge Barker, if they can go by him, okay, they can bypass him. The bosses will not allow the article to be printed, and that is what gonna make us better than them. That is what is gonna make us be. That's what is gonna make us be
On the radio.
more effective. When they are do the investigation, they are gonna get all the details because there is just for that alone is three people in that department. Over
I
here,
hear there's a lot more. That's the three that were in the paper. There's like six or
well, no,
something that
because
are-
they're talking about Cook, which is the managing editor,
Right,
and they talk about the editor in chief. And
Okay.
you know, those people don't go out of the office. They sit there and wait.
Administrators.
Yeah, they administrator. We can afford to do that. Either I go out and the office is empty, or I stay here and I gotta wait for people to bring me the story. And sometimes people don't have the time to bring me the story. But believe me, if I do like Ed just dropped me something over there, then Ed Yulin just left me a paper, a story that came out in the Las Vegas Tribune about the same thing that is happening now. They giving the land away. You know, when I go to the courthouse every day, I get scoops, I get connections, I get sources, but when I go once a week, people forget my face. I got a very normal face, very strange face. People don't remember my face that much. So that's what happened. And that is where the Review Journal is winning because they make it difficult for us to get commercial where they make it easy for us to have advertisements, and we can afford to have a staff like every other normal newspaper. That's how they making, and that's how they did it with other papers, because the Review Journal always wanted to be the only paper in town, the only game in town. In the old days, people were professional journalists and they compete with each other. And even sometimes, because I remember Los Angeles Times and I forgot the other paper, I think it was Los Angeles Herald or something, I don't know. This is many, many years ago. And the reporters talk to each other and they fit it, and then everybody had their own different take on the news. But the Review Journal have no professionals. Maybe that's why they're getting professional now, because I wrote that last week in the Las Vegas Tribune. They have no people that have ethics, they have no professionals that they can do the job that they need to do.
We'll see what happens. Maybe it'll be something will come out of it.
I will be happy. I will be honored if they take any of those cases, including you, including the other case of the Doug Hendon, Josh Hunter had, and including this lady that was here today. I don't want to mention name, including Ed Euling's case. They all civils. But now they can go and see Ron Mortensen's case, they can see Christine Lobato's case, they can see Donovan Joseph's case, they can see a lot of cases that are completely unjustifiable, and they are an embarrass to the justice system in the state of Nevada.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
The truth's got to come out.
Yeah.
Has to. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining the show. Mr. Larraz, always a pleasure to have your input.
Thank you for letting me air my sentiments.
Maybe you'll be on your show tomorrow for once this week. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. No, I won't be.
No, that's right. Okay.
Wednesday.
All right. Well, see you next week sometime.
Thursday.
Okay.
I'll be here Thursday.